All right, this is it.
This is it. This is for all the marbles. John Candy. Oh, Rookie of the Year. You should have got that pedestal table.
All right. Go for it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Cruising with the Crawfords. We are coming to you today to tell you a little bit about why we made the switch from Royal Caribbean to Princess Cruises.
Yeah, we cruised with Royal. The very first cruise we ever went on Royal was in 2006, so 20 years ago. So we've had plenty of experience on all different kinds of their ships. Yeah, so we're going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible and just tell you why we decided to make the switch. We've got 3 Princess cruises already booked since we got home.
And one in the tank.
Yeah.
One of the main complaints that we had on our last Royal Caribbean cruise, which was the Jewel of the Seas out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, which we've done multiple times on a different ship, a larger ship, Adventure. We noticed that the service was lacking per, the ratio crew to passenger. And the service was just slower. So it's a similar ship to the Grand Princess, similar in size, similar in age, similar in passenger capacity. So we are really comparing the experience on the Grand Princess with that. Unfortunately, it was the worst of the Royal Caribbean experiences that we had. Service in the dining room, at all of the bars, our cabin steward, guest services, anything that we utilized on the ship, the service seemed to be more efficient. Mm-hmm. And we appreciated that. Whereas with Royal, we kind of went if we had concerns or questions, not necessarily problems or anything like that. They wouldn't really get taken care of. It was kind of a toss-up.
Our stateroom attendant, she was good on this cruise. She got sick one night and wasn't available the next day, so they had somebody else picked up her workload, which was a first. We've been on 11 cruises and I've never experienced that before. But one thing that they did is my son lost one of his souvenirs from St. Kitts that we had gotten, and what we think happened was it was folded up in the sheets whenever she came to do to clean the stateroom, and they were able to find that in the sea of laundry and return that. So
the condition of the ship was another reason that we wanted to try something new. Again, the Grand Princess is 30 years old. Mm-hmm. The Jewel, I don't know. I should have looked that up. But anyway, the Grand Princess is 30 years old.
They're similar in age.
The two ships. And we noticed it was the condition of the Grand Princess was kept up much better than the Jewel of the Seas.
They were literally varnishing all of the wood trim. Every time we were walking somewhere in a public space, there was somebody taking care of something, whether it be the railings or whether it be they were, when I was talking about the varnishing, the wood outside, they were literally sanding that down and re-varnishing. I don't think I've ever seen them do that on Royal. Royal, we would always see them painting and that stuff when they were at port,
and it was usually the exterior of the ship, not throughout the ship. We were walking around the promenade deck on the Grand, and they would just have sections closed, and it's because they were working, which some people may have found as an inconvenience, but I was happy to see that. The carpets were all new. The beds have been changed. The TVs have been upgraded. Yeah. You don't have this tiny thing in the corner of the cabinet in the stateroom anymore. I think they've done a really, really good job in trying to modernize older ships. There's still areas, of course, that that it's an older ship, like the bathrooms in your staterooms. They still have, light blue and cream colors, but they're clean and they look great. Whereas I think in our stateroom on the Jewel, in our bathroom, like our mirror was cracked and it was missing one of the shelves. I mean, things that you think would be easy to fix.
That they would have been able to fix. But number 3, the kids club. We have a 9-year-old who tends to do better with smaller groups of kids. There was maybe 6 to 8 kids in there with him. That was his age group, which is the Lodge, I believe, right? The Lodge.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's 8 to 12-year-olds. So he was, of course, he's 9. They have, anything from gaming consoles to there's skee ball in there. There's foosball table in there. There's what else did they have in there? All kinds of stuff. But anyway, they have scheduled activities because it's sponsored by the Discovery Channel, Discovery Kids. And so they would have free play and then they would have scheduled activities. I thought that was pretty neat. He always wanted to go back after dinner and spend at least an hour or 2. And that tells you a lot about the program if your kid wants to go back, right?
I think it's a big deal too, because depending on the type of child that you have, will kind of depend on what you prefer. Like we have a 21-year-old son who we took on all of the Royal Caribbean cruises, and he absolutely loved their kids club. Mm-hmm. And Royal Caribbean's kids club is great, but for the most part, you're going to find more kids on Royal Caribbean's cruises because it's younger families with kids. Yeah. Princess seems to be a little bit older of a demographic, but there were kids, and I think it was more of a multi-generational thing, like grandparents bringing, their kids and their grandkids. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the difference. But I think that it should be said that Royal does have a good kids club too. Yeah. But our son, of course, prefers this. I also think that the decorations, because of Discovery Kids in the kids club, were amazing. I thought it was really cool. The tree house is the little kids, and then the lodge, and then the beach house. And all of them, I mean, it was just outstanding. I thought it was great. Yeah. Again, for an old ship, you never know what to expect. So we really enjoyed that.
Number 4, the pools and the spas. You're talking about a ship that, of course, it was the largest ship in the world whenever it was delivered in the late 90s to Princess. It's got 4 pools, and there's only one of them that is adults only, and the rest of them everybody can use, including the indoor pool. Whereas on Royal, that's the adults only area. And so if you're in a port that's cloudy or rainy or whatever, and the kids still want to swim, that kind of poses a problem, right? So this was really, in my opinion, one of the big, differences between Royal and Princess as far as the outdoor space, as far as the pool deck goes. Aft facing pool. Do you remember what it was called? Okay. That was just fantastic, and there was hardly any people in there. The day that we swam, in that particular pool, there was like 3 other people in there with us. Now, we're not used to that. Like on Royal, it's like we would be as close to each other as to somebody else in these pools. So that is a big difference.
It was like the only place to congregate on, especially on sea days on Royal Caribbean, because that's where everybody wanted to be, was at the pool. And, they generally have, on these older ships on Royal, have 2 pools outside, and then all of the sun chairs around, and then on the next deck up, all of the sun chairs around.
Yeah, and so we never had to fight for a lounge chair. Never, not one time. No. And on Royal, I don't think we ever got one. You'd have to get down there at 6 a.m. to get one of those chairs. So,
and you'd have to put your towel, and that's against the rules. And
whatever. And don't forget, you got to check your towel out. You don't have to check towels out on Princess.
Yeah, because God forbid you take one.
They trust you bringing back a $2 towel. That kind of goes into the next one, the use of space.
Yes. I feel like the Grand Princess offered much more space as far as lounges, dining tables. Of course, pool seating, we talked about that. But even just loungers around the ship, they were everywhere. And there was lots of space all up and down both sides of the ship and then on the back. Something that the Grand Princess did really well was outside of Horizon Court, they put tables for eating in the pool area.
Yeah.
The indoor pool area.
Yeah, that was nice.
So on both sides of the indoor pool, there were probably 3, 6, 8, maybe 18 tables on each side of the pool. Usually like 4-person tables that they used for dining. Also, the buffet had seating in the aft of the ship on the other side of the buffet. So we really think that they did a good job in like spreading it out where you don't have to stay in the buffet to sit down and eat, because we went up there for breakfast a few times and I mean there were tons of people, but we still found a chair.
Yeah.
And so it makes
more
a big
places
difference.
To go.
Yeah. We just felt like it was better. Something else that's great about that is Princess puts your silverware on every table, so you don't have to carry your silverware and your plate and go through the buffet line and drop everything.
Yep, for sure.
But there's more lounges on the Grand Princess than on the Jewel.
For sure.
The Princess Cruises is famous for their piazza, which they do really well because they separate the shops into multiple levels. Of course, they have other bars and lounges in the piazza, as well as guest services, things like that in this particular ship. Whereas the Jewel of the Seas, their shops were in one hallway and you can walk through there. It was insane. I remember that vividly, trying to walk through there.
Next thing I want to talk about, and I think it's a game changer. I don't know why more cruise lines haven't done this. I'm shocked that Carnival Corporation hasn't implemented this on all of their cruise ships, but the Medallion, that is the biggest game changer that I have ever seen whenever it comes to not having to carry a dadgum hotel room key with you everywhere you go, or to use it to pay for something as like you want to get a bottle of water or something that actually you have to pay for. You don't have to, I'm going to find my room key and give it to you and then sign something and all of that. You literally don't have to do anything. You go up to the bar. Let's say that you want a cocktail at the bar. You go up there. They know who you are based on your medallion that you're wearing. You don't have sometimes you may just have to tell them your room number in case there's a ton of people up there close by. And then it helps them locate you on their system. But you don't have to sign anything. You don't have to sign a gratuity line. You don't have to do none of that stuff. So it just makes it much more efficient. It's faster. It's how you get in and out of your room. I'm sure that, there's a lot more videos out there that will talk to you about the Medallion, or you can just do a Google search and read up on it. But it is a game changer.
It's great for kids because Princess actually has accessories that you can buy that are specific to their medallion, whether it's a necklace or a watch band or whatever. They have a whole bunch of it, and it's actually reasonably priced on the ship. We didn't really know that, so we bought some stuff from Amazon to wear our medallions, like our Apple Watch, but on our wrist. For kids, that's huge. I cannot tell you how many times we were worried about our son losing
because
the
they
key
would put it
card.
on a lanyard in the card.
Yeah, and then you're going on and off the ship and all that stuff, and you're like, "Where's your card?"
So you can track them where they're
Definitely.
at on the Princess app. You can see where your child is,
or any other shipmates. You can add anyone. Yeah, it's a big deal. And the whole time, anybody that's cruised with Royal Caribbean, you will remember, like on the pool deck on a sea day, drink man comes up, brings you your drink, and then he's trying to fumble all of the receipts to try to find the ones you need to sign. And
such a pain.
It's such a mess. And so this is so efficient. And I agree. I don't know why the rest of the corporation hasn't implemented it. Money, obviously. It costs money. But totally worth it.
Last thing, this may not be a big deal to some people, but some I think it will, especially if you're going to do like back-to-back cruises, or let's say that you don't want to pack an entire 8 days worth of stuff and you just want to pack 4 and do a wash. But they have a laundromat on every single floor. And it's reasonable. Like, but anyway, I said we would keep this short and sweet, and I think we've kind of rambled on, so we'll kind of close it and end it at that. But what I would say is we 100% recommend Princess Cruises. We hate that. I mean, we were Emerald status with Royal, and that doesn't mean anything because like the biggest deal is like, oh, you get a robe or whatever, you know, you get disembarkation privileges or whatever. That's not going to keep me going to Royal Caribbean and having a bad time. So
no, and I think that it's important that a lot of people are very, very brand loyal. Yeah. So I think that it's more important to see what value you are getting for your money. And for us, it's more about a more laid back experience, but also things to do as a family. And as we've gotten older, we've just changed what we like. We don't want to party all night. We don't need dance parties by the pool all night long. We just, there's no reason for that. We like to listen to music and, you know, play the trivias and all the things that they have. But I think it just depends on you, your family's needs and your personality. And I think that Princess does have a level of service that is superior to Royal Caribbean. Yeah. So
anyway, if you have any questions, comments, leave them below and we would be happy to answer them. And
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't do that.
Why?
We're cutting that out.
Oh my God. Bye.